I am joined here today by another positive psychologist, Dr. Wendy O'Connor, who is a positive psychologist and life strategist for women. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. So the intention for this Unstoppable Success series really is to showcase you ladies, so to share the amazing, amazing women that I have the honor and the pleasure of working with in our Unstoppable Success Accelerator. I really want to give you guys like a behind the scenes of what it's like to grow a business as a coach and what actually goes into that. I feel like we show up and we give you like 5 top tips to do this. And really, I want to dig into what goes on, the background, the behind the scenes, and what it really takes to create unstoppable success. So Wendy, how long have you been a coach for?
So I got certified almost 3 years ago to coach, but I've been practicing for the last 11 years as a psychologist. So I've been licensed as a psychologist for over a decade, but it wasn't until the last several years that I started itching for something a little bit different. So the clinical work that I was doing was super rewarding and incredibly impactful on the micro level, but it felt like there was something missing when it came to creating change in the name of flourishing and thriving. So a lot of the work that I would do with patients that struggled with depression and anxiety was really focus on getting them symptom resolution, creating a space where they didn't have symptoms of depression anymore, they didn't have symptoms of anxiety, but they still seemed like they were going through the motions and just checking the boxes and not loving their lives. And that's how I got interested in positive psych. And that's also how I got interested in coaching, because when you're a licensed provider, you're limited with who you can treat and work with. And so I thought, you know what, if I actually want to have bigger impact, I'm going to have to play bigger. And I got certified to coach, and here I am.
That just landed so well. If I want to create a bigger impact, I'm going to have to play bigger. So much yes for that. So it's interesting because positive psychology, like you guys may or may not know what it is. So pos psych is the scientific study of what it takes for individuals, communities, and businesses to thrive. And psychology, as usual, focused, like you said, Wendy, on that disorder and the frameworks around that, like what actually, if you've got these type of symptoms, then what are you classified as? And it didn't really look at human strength and virtue. So I agree that it's a way more progressive science than other areas of psychology have been when it comes to actually looking at success and really creating a thriving and fulfilling life. So tell me like a little bit more about what it is that you've been able to transition from your career as a psychologist into this life as a coach. Give me a little bit more on the background and what it looks like to have really brought yourself and your clients into this new space.
Yeah, so it's a completely different world, first of all. So what's funny about practicing as a psychologist is that you're behind closed doors and you hang a shingle, so to speak, and you work in a very private way. So I knew that I wanted to coach, but I had no idea what that actually meant in terms of putting yourself out there, in terms of visibility, in terms of showing up every single day. It's a completely different beast. And so the transition for me has been so much of my own personal growth along the way. You think that if you can hang a shingle and fill a practice as a provider in a private setting, then as soon as you gain access to the world, you will have filled your practice there too in an instant. In fact, you would think it would take so much less time to do it as a coach because I can work with women all over the world versus just in my state as a psychologist. So it's a really interesting learning curve for me. And it really challenged me to understand what was necessary when it came to the impact that I wanted to make. I'd have to show up every day. I'd have to remind myself and my audience that they can make change happen. I'd have to be living proof of the work that I wanted clients to achieve. I had to do the same stuff. And so it really was this incredible journey, and still is because it's ongoing, of understanding what it means to be visible and understanding what it means to actually show up and to walk your talk. So it's amazing. It's super empowering, but it's also, be honest, it's challenging. You have to be very good at setting boundaries for yourself and protecting your energy in knowing when to take breaks and knowing when it's better for you to focus on serving yourself than others at certain times. So it really is an incredibly educational journey and transformative for me along the way.
I'm always blown away by you ladies. Like, you're also a mom. Like, there's so many things, like proven successful psychologist, now a successful coach, also an amazing wife and mother and all of the things. I remember when we first spoke, I was on Necker Island, and I think it was the day where we had they put on like a sushi party for us, where they got these kayaks and they floated them into the pool, and they put all of the sushi on one of them and all of the drinks on the other. And I knew we had a call, so everyone was over here having the sushi and the drinks, and I'm like on the phone with this amazing lady, which was you. And I just loved your energy, and I love how you show up, and I love how powerfully you serve your clients. It was just so amazing to see how you really do embody the things that you teach others. And I think it's so important as leaders to actually do that. You've created so much success in all of these different places. Like, what would you say for you is like your personal biggest achievement? Like, what is the biggest success that you would say that you've had? And what would you say it was that actually helped you create that?
So personally speaking, which it totally impacts my professional life too, it's actually designing my happiest life. So the biggest achievement that I've created is actually walking my talk and actually showing myself and my clients what you can do when you put your mind to it and when you design your life. There's this big misconception that happiness is either something that we get or we don't get. It's not something that we can actually have a very deliberate hand in creating for ourselves. So for me, the achievement and accomplishment that will always be the gift that keeps on giving is knowing exactly how to design my happiest life and to wake up every morning with that intention in mind. It's not fail-proof. There are always moments that you could slip, or you can lose your footing, or you can lose your sight, or you can even engage in some self-doubt. But it really is about what that overall big vision is and choosing to show up for it every day. In terms of my professional life, it has been launching this incredible business with incredible clients. Like, my clients are doing so well. And when I get those messages from them that, oh my gosh, they're finally sleeping, and they have no more anxiety, and they're not stressed, and they're spending quality time with their kids, and they're more present. It's just the most rewarding work I could imagine doing. And one aspect of that was just really one of the highlights for 2019 was when I made 5K in less than 24 hours. So fun. Like, it was just like this moment of like, yes, this is really a sustainable business model, and it's something that women really need and they really want. And the hardest part for all of us, myself included, was giving myself permission to go for it and giving myself permission to change my story. So for me, the success is all around being exactly who it is that I really want to be, to inspire others to do the same work.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing results. And I really love that you've brought the fun into your business. So actually you're living what you teach, and you are creating success, but also being happy as well. Awesome. So tell me, on the other side of things, because I'm fascinated by obviously what it takes to create unstoppable success. We've built this whole company around that to help you ladies and to help our community in building unstoppable success within themselves, and then also within their lives and businesses too. But alongside that, we need to look at, and we really need to acknowledge what it is that is commonly stopping people. So what do you feel like it is that has stopped you?
It is hands down, whenever that inner critic, that self-doubt voice, that imposter syndrome pops up, that's what stops me. And it stops me less and less as I go through my own growth and my own journey. But that's one of the things over the last few years that you get really excited. And I'm someone who's very excitable. So I get really future focused and hopeful and enthusiastic about how this business is going to change the world. But there's those moments that you wake up and think, who are you to think that you're going to make this change? Like, who are you to think that you're going to impact one woman, let alone thousands or millions of women? And so for me, looking back over the last few years, the biggest hurdle were those days that your mind just plays tricks on you, and your mind wants you to stay safe and in your comfort zone, and it doesn't want you to leap, and it doesn't want you to dream big and to play big. And so that was probably the hardest obstacle, was those days that would just feel a little bit off. And I would say, what is going on? Why can't I always, every day, 24 hours a day, have this most incredible self-belief and confidence? And then you realize nobody does. Like, this is the deal. This is why this work is so important, is because the same thing that could stop me from progressing on a given day is the same thing that stops women from even asking for help, or even believing they could change their story or change the script in their head. So that was definitely the biggest obstacle. And I won't say that that never pops up, but it's so much less now, because as soon as I made the choice to believe what I wanted to see in myself and in my ability to impact the world, and to align that with my behavior, as soon as I actually saw myself really showing up, that inner critic gets really quiet, because you're actually doing the work. That makes all the difference, or it did for me.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think a lot of people like look from the outside and look at you, for example, like you're so highly qualified and you're so successful that it creates this natural separation between you and them, where people might potentially think like, Wendy's got it all figured out. She's a doctor. She must know it all. And it makes it harder for people to understand that you understand them. But as soon as you're actually able to say, listen, guys, I don't have it all figured out. And sometimes I feel like that too. It's like that missing link that helps your clients and your audience feel so much more comfortable, because now they don't feel like they're wrong. Now they feel like
exactly
normalized.
Exactly right. Absolutely. And when clients find out that I have children, I have 3 children 15 months apart, when they find out that I'm running 2 businesses, when they find out that I'm doing it, the question is always how, instead of, are you, can you, is it even possible? All of a sudden the story changes. And so it is like, you have to create that relatability, that you remind yourself that you're human. And so you're not all knowing, and you're not all powerful. And you remind your clients too, like, we are the same. We're maybe at different stages of our journey, or different stages of our growth or development, but we are the same people. You know, we all have that common thread, and that's made a big difference too.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's think about, like, if you were going to give those people who are watching at home, if you could give like one power tip for becoming unstoppable. So if someone wants to create unstoppable success within themselves, within their business, what would Dr. Wendy say?
Set your boundaries unapologetically. You have to know what distance or what limits need to be set between you and the rest of the world. This goes for how you manage and protect your energy. This goes for how you manage and protect relationships. And this goes for how you manage and protect your time. You need to know yourself. You need to invest in yourself. You need to do the work yourself to know what your limits are, so that you don't burn out, and that you actually can stay in the game sustainably. So this isn't about how quickly can we get to the finish line. It's actually, how many marathons can we run? Are we conditioned to stay for the long haul and make this our lifestyle, versus just a quick fix? So boundaries, boundaries, and more boundaries.
Thank you. I agree. I hear you. I receive it. I hope you guys at home receive that well as too. Thank you so much, Wendy. I am thrilled that we are working together. From that initial call on Necker Island, what has blossomed into a beautiful relationship. And I really can't wait to see what's next on your journey of unstoppable success. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing with everyone.
Thank you so much, Nick. I couldn't have done it without you. So I appreciate all of your time and all of your wisdom. Thank you very much.